It's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's the 20th day of May 2022. It's 60 degrees and extremely cloudy here at Site B. It rained, even though the weather report says nothing about it. Okay, it's Friday, which means it's time for an editorial. So, content warning, this is going to be very triggering. I'm going to say a lot of not nice words. I may raise my voice. I may make some veiled threats. I may insult a certain individual. So if that's something you don't appreciate, you should probably stop watching. I'll give you a moment while I drink this coffee. Support me, coffee. I will sell out. J. Scott Garibay. J. Scott Garibay is a motherfucking mark. Now, you will often hear me refer to this term, mark. Motherfucking mark. Stop being a motherfucking mark. What the fuck is a mark, OGGM? Other than a guy named Mark. It's a pro wrestling term. I'm sure it's a term from other things, but basically, mark out. Mark, I generally sort of means obsessive fan who believes their own hype and gets upset when things don't go the way they think it should go and gets so wrapped up in the excitement that they can't separate real life from the facade that is professional wrestling. So the mark are the very obsessive fans who post horrible things about professional wrestlers if professional wrestlers say or do something that go against what they think the professional wrestler is supposed to do. Now we also have marks in our hobby because people get very passionate about our hobby, and they can get so passionate that if you do something or say something they don't agree with, they will attack you. J. Scott Garibay is the worst kind of mark. Now, I know J. Scott Garibay made a video about me, and I know I shouldn't be talking about it because it's giving J. Scott Garibay attention. And if I give J. Scott Garibay attention, it means he's won. Because J. Scott Garibay has admitted that all he cares about is the negative attention. He wants your attention. He doesn't care if you approve or disapprove of what you say. He admitted he just wants that negative attention. He wants those negative clicks. And the more you get angry at him, the more you feed into his issues, the more he will post disingenuous stuff. So J. Scott Garibay is a liar. You don't have to take my word on it. He has admitted multiple times he is a liar. He knows he is a liar. He knows what he's saying is untrue, but he keeps saying it because it gets him the attention he feels he needs to fill whatever void is in his soul. So by talking about the fact that he talked about me, I'm giving him attention, which I shouldn't be doing. In fact, I just made a 30-minute video about J. Scott Garibay, but I deleted it because I realized all I'm doing is giving him what he wants. He's picking a fight with me, and he's waiting for me to respond. So yesterday, as you know, I made a very sarcastic video about the Bro SR and the statements like, you're playing D&D wrong. D&D is not supposed to be fun. You need to play D&D as raw, rules as written. You need to be playing D&D as Gygax attended. Gygax didn't know what he was talking about because you don't need to play D&D as Gygax intended. You need to play D&D as written. And I went into my usual scientific explanation, my usual, well, you don't know explanation. And very sarcastically, I said, right? Yes, you're right. I'm playing D&D wrong. We're all playing D&D wrong. We're all playing any role-playing game wrong. None of us know the right way to play. Even Gygax didn't play it as written. And since I've play tested a couple games and met game designers and worked with them and played games written by the people who wrote the game, even I know game designers today don't play as written. Nobody does. Now, I've already explained why I believe that, so I don't need to explain that again. So, J. Scott Garibay somehow became aware of the video I posted yesterday. I don't know how, because he's one of the 3 individuals that is banned from my channel because of things he said about me in the past and threats he's made to me. And oh yes, J. Scott Garibay, let's not forget, you threatened me first. And somehow out of that video of me saying, you know what, you're right, we're all playing it wrong, J. Scott Garibay heard, you know what, Scott, you're right, I'm playing D&D wrong. Now, I said a lot of things in that video, but at no point in time did I say J. Scott Garibay is right. At no point in time in my awareness of the existence of this individual, who, by the way, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into the who started this thing. Nowhere at any point in time have I said J. Scott Garibay is right. There is no timeline where I will ever say J. Scott Garibay is right. There is nothing that has come out of this man's mouth that I agree with. Everything he says is incorrect on multiple levels. The fact that J. Scott Garibay is now posting a video going around saying, you know what? The OGGM said I was right, and I'm very grateful that he's finally admitted that I'm right and everybody else is wrong about D&D. Well, not only do I never say you're right, Scott, that's slander. That's libel, because you're taking credit for something you didn't do, and you're claiming I said something I didn't say. So if I really wanted to be an asshole, Scott, I could report you to YouTube for slander. I could also report you to YouTube for the fact that you threatened to curb stomp me, but I'm not going to, because I know that's exactly what you want. In fact, I know in the back of my head, I shouldn't be making this video, because it's giving him attention. And giving J. Scott Garibay attention is what J. Scott Garibay wants. J. Scott Garibay is a liar. He knows he's a liar. He's admitted he's a liar. But he keeps doing it, making 7, 8, 10 videos a day saying the most disingenuous, ridiculous, borderline conspiracy things about whatever, because it gets him attention. He's got over 1,000 subs, and his average videos get 32 to 100 views. 90% of the algorithm is negative in regards to him. He gets more downward posts than upward posts. Almost every post in his comments are negative about what he says, but he doesn't care. See, that's the problem. That's why he's a mark. He doesn't care. As long as he's getting your attention, as long as he's out there on his podium waving his Gary Gygax flag. Remember, this is the guy who said Gary Gygax is more important to American history than Abraham Lincoln. Gary Gygax is more important to American history than the Statue of Liberty. This is this man. And I can show you where he said it. I can show you where he admits he's lying, and he knows he's lying. I can show you where he admits in his interview with DM Bloodworth where he's doing this to get attention. Because if you pay attention to that interview, you hear him say it. So, I'm 8 minutes into this video. I know I shouldn't be recovering. Now, Scott, I appreciate that you appreciate me. I appreciate that I've wormed my way into your head. I appreciate the free press. I know that I made an angry video and I deleted it. I know I made some angry comments because I was furious that you would even mention me. In fact, the last time we had any contact with each other, I said, you know what, Scott? I don't care what you say. Just don't bring me into it. As long as you never mention my name, and as long as you never threaten anybody again, I don't fucking care. You can do whatever it is you think you need to do to get attention. So I appreciate you, Scott. I appreciate you talking about me. I appreciate you giving me attention. I appreciate the fact that I now live in your head. And you probably appreciate the fact that you live in my head, which you wouldn't be if you hadn't made the video. So let's just compensate again before I go over the 10-minute mark. J. Scott Garibay saw me make a video yesterday, and somehow he took the commentary of that video, which had nothing to do with him, nothing to do with 5th edition, and somehow interpreted that in his psychosis that I was going around saying, J. Scott Garibay is right and I'm wrong. I assure you, there again, at no point in time have I ever said you are right, Scott. And there is no point in time will I ever say you are right, other than the time you admitted you were lying. That is the only time I have ever agreed with you. When you told me, yes, you knew you were lying. So that's all I have to say. People are probably going to be like, no, you should say more. You should say more. You should totally rip this guy a new one. I mean, look at this guy. He's such a fucking mark. And I should, but I'm not going to. And I've already probably said too much. And I'm probably already going to regret making this video. But you're lying, Scott, and I don't appreciate that. You're lying about me. You're lying about something I said. You're claiming that I said you were right and that I'm wrong. And that I play D&D wrong, everything I say is wrong, everything I think is wrong, everybody I associate with is wrong. This is just like the time when you threatened me, Scott. It's only going to get you in trouble. And it's slander. That's slander, Scott. So stop. Because you're a motherfucking mark.